Welcome to Lassen Park. Today we're going to hike Bumpus Hell Trail all the way down to Kings Creek and back. That'll be about a 6-mile round trip. Let's go. Well, here's the map of our trail. The red spot is where we're at now. We're going to hike to the end of the line. That'll be Bumpus Hell, and then another 1.5 miles on down to Kings Creek. There we'll have our picnic and then turn around and come home. We'll be losing 2,000 foot of elevation. A lot of the trees up here for protection in the harsh winter grow very close together, sort of sheltering each other from the 100-mile-an-hour plus winds and driven snow that comes through this area. This is a view only about a 1/4 of a mile down the trail, looking back at the parking lot. This is Lake Helen. The highway runs right along the side of the lake. It's a beautiful lake, crystal clear and bright blue. Although the trail is plenty wide, you certainly don't want to lose your footing. That is really steep all the way to the bottom. The mountain that you see is part of the original mountain that blew up many years ago, called Mount Tehama. This is called Brokaw. I can see it from my house. Here's a good view of the trail. Notice how the trees on the side is bent. That's from the heavy snow in the wintertime when it bent the small tree and then it straightened itself up. You'll see many trees like this on the trail. It's so nice to be retired. I can do this during the week. Hardly anybody on this trail. On the weekend, there'll be hundreds of people in the park walking every trail. The views from this elevation, which is just under 8,000 feet, is just fantastic. Well, we've made the 1.5 miles. We've dropped almost 2,000 feet. Bumpus Hell is just ahead of us, starting to get the smell of the sulfur, and you can see the steam. When you walk here, you want to be sure and stay on the trail, or you'll wind up the same as Bumpus did. Herding cattle, he fell through the crust, scalded his leg so bad they had to amputate it. So the name Bumpus Hell. The water flowing here is very hot. Do not touch. This large area that we're looking at where the steam and hot water is coming up used to be just a tiny hole. At one time there was a walkway here. It's now gone. It swallowed it. Stay on the trail. What the sign is explaining, that the area starts out small. The hot water and the steam slowly dissolves all of the soil and keeps enlarging the hole. Someday the whole mountain may be gone. This is sort of the way the hole starts out, and it just keeps dissolving and melting and washing away the hill. It gets larger and larger. Then, in a few years, it's big like this, but it hasn't stopped. It's getting bigger and bigger. The people on the walkway are at the end of a big hole area that has been getting larger and larger each year. A few years ago, when I was here, there was a lot of steam and mud coming up out of this hole. It seems to have went to sleep for a little while. This sign explains about the sulfur. There's plenty of it here. The smell is really strong, but it's fantastic to see the crystals, how they form. As I head on down the trail and look back at Bumpus Hill, you can see the Park Service has done a super great job of putting in the walkways so you can really see all of the area. This is a small spring just above Bumpus Hill. It's surprising to see how much water comes up out of the ground. You're looking in the far distance at Lake Amanor, way over by the town of Chester. What a view! Another group of trees that are doing the best they can to protect each other from the harsh winter. What a view! Beautiful little lake just below down the trail. Doesn't the rock look like the back of a gigantic bear? Boy, are they rugged up here. Even with the harsh winters, the springs and the fall, there's beautiful flowers everywhere. What a trail to hike. I've seen a lot of trees that grow out of the rocks. Boy, I still don't know how they do it. Notice how twisted and rugged all the rocks are. The face of this cliff is just fascinating. As you can see by the sign, there are bubbles breaking the surface all over the lake. All the little white bubbles that you see coming up is methane gas from all of the needles and wood leaves that have fallen into the lake for the hundreds of years. Well, I hope you enjoyed this short hike. It was only about 6 miles altogether. Stick around, there's more to come. And when you get a chance, come up to Lassen Volcanic National Park. It's a park worth seeing.